I've wanted to be a speedrunner for quite a while, but the amount of dedication and time the top runners put into it is extremely daunting, and it would take me years to get to that same level. But I recently thought of a more realistic goal that could open the door to the world of speedrunning for me, becoming the fastest speedrunner where I'm from, which is a small country called Wales. So in this video I've picked out 3 different games that I will be trying to beat the current Welsh records in. First up we have Suika. Dubbed by many as Japan's hardest game, however for me it's going to be my easiest Welsh record to beat, because there isn't one. So to kickstart my speedrunning career, all I had to do was get a Suika in literally any time whatsoever. But that would be quite a cheap victory, so I at least don't want to be in last place. So the time I want to beat is 6 minutes and 23 seconds. I started off with a few unfortunate runs, but I was clearly being way too messy. I didn't have much of a strategy going into this other than place as many fruits as fast as possible, but that wasn't really working out for me. So I decided to play a little bit slower and actually think about where I was placing the fruit. And before long I had this run. I got the baby melon 3 minutes in and was building a good chain reaction on the other side. All I needed was 2 apples to connect and this whole side would fall into place and make a Suika. And that's exactly what happened. 4 minutes and 17 seconds. I looked to see where this would leave me on the leaderboard and it was just in the top 25. So I was pretty satisfied with that and moved on to my next game. Minecraft, one of the most popular speedrunning games. I wanted more of a challenge than just picking games that had no Welsh records. So I went to a game I'm already kind of familiar with to see what the fastest Welsh time was on Minecraft. In the random seed category, there is a Welsh player by the name of Gulpshitto who has a very good time of 11 minutes and 44 seconds. And I've never speedrun this game. So I think what's best for me is to focus on the set seed category, because it would take an extremely long time to learn all the mechanics of a random seed and beat a sub 12 run. So I started looking through the set speed runs, and I scrolled and eventually I found a player named Woody NH with a time of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Now I could easily beat this if I picked the current world record seed. However, to make this as fair as possible, I wanted to beat his time on the same seed he used. So that's what I did. But it was pretty obvious I had never tried this before. I was making so many stupid mistakes like angering Enderman, falling into lava, misplacing obsidian, or something as simple as jumping off into the void. And even when I didn't make mistakes, it was clear I had no clue what I was doing when it came to bed bombing the Ender Dragon. No, I can't place it. Every speedrun I've ever seen made it look so easy, but I quickly realised I wouldn't be able to do this without practice. So I looked up online and found this map that would help me. I watched a lot of tutorials on how to do it, but I still wasn't getting the hang of it. I kept practicing and practicing until eventually I did this. Oh, that was good. I could actually see it that time. I could finally see the pattern and suddenly it all became clear. And with this new power unlocked, I headed back into the seed and tried again. And this time, I was able to do this. Come on, that was good, that was good. Time. That's faster. That's faster we did. 3 minutes and 38 seconds. 52 seconds faster than the previous Welsh record. And now when you scroll down the list of set seed speedruns, the first Welsh flag you see will have my name next to it. If it ever gets verified, that is. Now, whilst this video is about me getting Welsh records, there is a secret goal I've had in mind, and that is to get a world record. And I thought, what if there's a way I could do both? And eventually I came across Doom338, who dominates the leaderboards for a little game called Isle of You. The first world record I found held by a Welsh person is a game about herding sheep. Honestly, what more would you expect? And what better game to prove once and for all who the fastest Welsh speedrunner there is? There was just one problem. Doom has been running this game for years, and over the past 4 years, he has beat his own record 30 times across each category. His runs were practically flawless. I decided there wouldn't be time to beat every category in this video, so I chose the Welshest one I could, the all sheep category, because a true Welshman would never leave a sheep behind. I first played through the game casually so I knew what to expect during my runs. In this game, you have lost your sheep, and they are scattered across the Isle of You. You have to solve puzzles, parkour, and fight bosses to bring them all back to their pen. You will travel through places like the Misty Cavern and the Scorched Abyss until eventually you find yourself at what I can only assume is the end of time. Everyone you know and love suddenly gets sucked into a black hole, but it's okay because the final sheep is waiting for us under this tree. Once the flower is picked, the game ends and so does the speedrun timer. And now the only thing left to do was to start running. And eventually I got my first official time. 29 minutes and 9 seconds. 10 whole minutes slower than the record, which is a lot, but it was to be expected. What I wanted to do from here was compare my run to Doom's and see where I went wrong to be able to shave 10 whole minutes off of my time. Now, of course, I didn't need to watch his run to see the obvious places I could save time. Right at the end, I met an unfortunate glitch where instead of bouncing back up like you're supposed to, I fell straight through the world. And this happened to me 3 times in a row, which meant I had to do the whole door unlocking and black hole cutscene 3 more times than I needed to, which added up to an incredible 5 extra minutes. If I can avoid that glitch, then the distance between me and the record would already be halved. But then I compared it to Doom's run, and he completely skips this section. I didn't need to open the door or wait for the black hole. You can just clip through the right side and walk straight through. Another huge time save, and it's not the only cutscene he skips. With the cutscene skips, less falling into lava and all round better movement, I can definitely get a lot closer to the record. My next personal best was 24 minutes. We saved those 5 minutes, but I also failed to skip this lava bridge cutscene, so there was still more time I could save. I got 23 minutes, down to 22 minutes, until eventually I got a 20-minute run, and by this point we have shaved 9 minutes off my first time, and we were now closing in on being less than a minute off the record. But like I said earlier, Doom's runs were practically flawless. There was only one area where he slips up, which loses him about 7 seconds of time. My movement was still slow and I was still making simple mistakes. I've never speedrun before, and I didn't anticipate the pressure I would start to feel when I've got a good run. There were so many parts that could go wrong. One mistake meant I wouldn't be fast enough. Even with no mistakes, I still wasn't fast enough. I decided that in order to break the record, I would need to try and find my own route. I wasn't fast enough to copy his. I found that by walking up slightly here, it meant I was unlocking this checkpoint. So when I got this sheep, I could jump up and it would teleport me back. This was about 5 seconds faster than running back the way he does. But the biggest time save I found here was a trick of placing a sheep and bouncing it up to this cave and then running to the end sheep, jumping off and teleporting back, which was a lot faster than running to the end sheep and running all the way back to the cave and jumping down. Honestly, I thought this would be enough. I managed to reach my first split 7 seconds faster than the world record. This with his slip would put me about 14 seconds ahead. But unfortunately, there was a blockade in my way. The spin cycle. From the moment the game starts, these islands start spinning, and only one island holds the sheep we need. The cycle takes about 20 seconds to go around in total, which means I either get there 20 seconds faster, or I miss the cycle and have to wait. Getting there a cycle ahead was impossible, which meant no matter how much faster I was at the start, I always ended up having to wait here until the right cycle, which gave Doom's record time to catch up. I went 200 runs without a personal best, but when I finally did, it was fast. Oh my gosh. Coming in at just 6 seconds behind the record, but I had reached my limit. It took so long to get this run, and it was pretty much perfect. So, if I want to be even faster, I had to save time somewhere else. I continued to practice each section over and over, trying to find ways to speed up the run. I found 1 time save in the Misty Cavern and 3 time saves in the Scorched Abyss. In the Misty Cavern, I found that I can blow this sheep from where he's stuck and pick him up as I pass, whereas Doom throws his sheep up towards him and it gets a little bit finicky and ends up taking him longer than it should. It's not a lot of time, but every little helps. Down in the Scorched Abyss, my main time save was, instead of going the long way around this section, I found that with the help of the tower ability, I could skip past this, which has the potential to save up to 7 seconds if performed optimally. The other 2 time saves were only short but added up to a potential extra 5 seconds. We now had a potential world record route. We just had to execute it flawlessly. I kept running and running, and on my 400th run, I did this. For the first time ever, I reached waterfall load quicker than he did, 1.2 seconds ahead. And then I reached the lava load, 9.1 seconds ahead of the world record. This had to be it. All I had to do was keep my cool, and we will have done it. I reached the end with a final time of 19 minutes exactly. I had done it. This was the new world record. If the run counted. Everything on this run was perfect, apart from one tiny but incredibly costly mistake. As I was about to throw the sheep onto the pad for collection, my game glitched and it threw the sheep away. I quickly recovered and threw it back on, but I accidentally jumped down and loaded the new area before the sheep was fully captured, meaning I hadn't rescued every sheep in the game, and this run could not be submitted. As devastating as it was, I didn't lose hope. On this day, I was running faster than I had ever done before. I was nailing the boss fight, which usually I struggled quite a lot on. My movement was faster, and I wasn't making any silly mistakes. And 6 runs later, I did this. At lava load, I was 16.9 seconds ahead. And I did a great run through the Scorched Abyss. I reached Ramsey and picked up the flower. 18 minutes and 54 seconds. It was done. Every sheep had been rescued and I sat proudly at the top of the leaderboard with my first ever world record. And now I was hooked. I had felt the frustrations, the joy of exploring new routes, and the satisfaction of hours of time and effort finally paying off to see my name sitting at the very top of the leaderboard. There are more records I want to beat, and that's what I plan to do.